All right, welcome to Midweek Odds Mastery. We're going to run through how these lines have moved, where we've beat them, where we haven't, and what we are planning on doing. So, first things first, let's go into our first bet of the night, which is the first fight of the night, Eunice Dubin. And you can see here, we got it at a plus 400. So back here, I guess we got it right before it fell, but it's just been cratering down. We had a little bounce back here. Got back up to 320, and now we're all the way down to a plus 295. I think Eunice Dubin should be favored here. This is for sure a lot of hype on Carly Judice. She has fought two decent opponents so far in the UFC. We can't say the same thing about Eunice Dubin. She won as a massive underdog in her Contender Series fight, KO in the first round. But she has 6 wins, 5 KOs, and 1 submission. So definitely a prospect here in Eunice Dubin, and it's the same thing with Carly Judice. She is a prospect. And if we check her out here, she's new to MMA. She lost to Gabriela Fernandez, who is a decent fighter. She was a slight underdog. She lost a split decision, and then she lost in the Contender Series to Anesta Karikate, who looked good in her UFC debut, or her second fight. She looked good in her last fight. But still not enough information here to lay a minus 500, so we scooped it up. She has a 3-2 record. Again, this is just a value play here, and it looks like the money is agreeing with us and keeps coming down. I would take this all the way to, it's hard to say. My metrics show it that you could take her as a favorite, but we'll see where that goes. Again, I like to stress this with the metrics. They're basing it off of previous information, previous times that these fighters fought, and when there's limited sample size, you can get wild variations in the line. But that being said, value on Dubin here, and I would take her. Really, I'd take her all the way to a plus 200. I don't think it'll get there, but let's keep the bets coming. I got her at a plus 400. I love that line, so I'm keeping it 2 units to win 8 units, and we will stick with that for now. Here's one I added on. I added a unit on Carlos Vera. Why do you say? Strictly this number. At a plus 600, Carlos Vera, I'm giving him a 35% chance of winning. And when we take a look at that here, we're going to see Carlos Vera, 35% chance. The implied probability of a plus 600 is 14.3. Obviously, that's crazy. So this is against an opponent. And if we take a look here, Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasas. And now this is one I wanted to actually watch again, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't betting into a fighter who might just be that guy, a steamroller. And what did we see in Musasas' first fight on the Contender Series? A split decision win. He looked good, but if we take a look at his Glico 1, his WHR, slightly above Carlos Vera. So definitely a better fighter, but with it being his debut, and we're only getting 65% probability for Musasas, 35% probability for Vera, I am getting value. And therefore, we're putting 1 unit to win 6. 1 unit to win 6 units plus 600 on Carlos Vera. So that's an add-on. I will show you. I did do some add-ons, and we'll get into those. Let's see. We got still 2 here. This has been canceled. They just need to refund the account. Sam Hughes, 3 units to win 6.05. I think that's the same as when we opened on Monday, but we might have had 2 units, so we add another unit on Sam Hughes. Let's take a look at where that line has gotten to. Sam Hughes currently at plus 195. That line has bounced back and forth between plus 190, plus 215 in that range. So that being considered, I have this fight close to a 50-50, and so I'm picking up those value points. Sam Hughes here is a veteran. If we take a look at her strength of schedule, she fought Victoria Dudakova as a plus 173. She cashed there. She loses as a big underdog to Yasmin Jauregui, but survives the fight in a decision. She beats Jacqueline Amarorem at a plus 248. So this is sort of a trend with our girl here, Sam Hughes. She is a favorite killer. She does come through as a dog. There are some losses in here, but again, some of these losses are against high-level fighters. Look at that, a win against Estela Nunez. So she just constantly comes in as an underdog, and most likely because she had a rough patch here, but look at this competition. Tisha Torres, Luma Lumbumki, Luana Pinheiro. And then she beats Estela Nunes. So it seems like there's levels to it. And do we think Stephanie Lucindo is at that level? If we take a look at who she's beat, Talita Alenkar. And I remember this fight. She comes back and wins it. She is known as Baby Ronda. I do remember her. She comes back and wins that fight after losing, or now getting a draw on the Contender Series versus the same fighter. This fighter here, very short, was an underdog here, came in as an underdog against her. Then there's a draw because she dominates that third round. And then she comes in as a favorite here and gets the decision. Big step up in competition, in my opinion, against Sam Hughes. And we're going to take that plus 200, I think, is what we have in our combined line here. If we take a look, plus 201 on Sam Hughes. Cody Gibson staying the same, 2 units to win 6.88. Let's take a look at how that line has moved. Cody Gibson at a plus 360. It should be pretty close to what we have. We have him at a plus 343 on a combined line. This has been up to, as far as I think, a plus 380. Let's see. Plus 360. If it takes us to there, plus 385. There you go. Oh, touch to plus 410. Line's too high, in my opinion. Let's take a look. Both have fought high-level competition, and Damon Blackshear could come out here and starch Cody Gibson. That's why it's only 2 units. My metrics are saying closer to 50-50. Really, it's saying 50-50. He beat Chad Ellinger as a big favorite. He beats Brian Kelleher as a big favorite. He loses to Mal Johns as an underdog. He loses to Brad Katona as an underdog. And then he lost the Ray Borg decision. Before that, beating guys in the regionals here. So has fought some tough competition and then some weaker competition, lower level guys. And Damon Blackshear may be at that next level, but let's take a look here. If we take a look at the advanced metrics on Damon Blackshear, WHR of 1669, Cody Gibson has a 1647, Cody Gibson has a 1750 Glico 1, and Damon Blackshear a 1694. So comparable in where we think these guys are at. Now, when it's this close, it really is 50-50. One guy is going to show who is the higher ranked fighter. I lean that Damon Blackshear is that guy with a higher upside, but he has shown that he is not always immune to getting beat. And if we take a look, let's go back here to Damon Blackshear. We're going to take a look at his numbers. And we'll see here. He beats Cody Stamann as a 236 favorite. I had him in that. I had Montel Jackson here, pretty big. He gets knocked out. Mario Batista, high-level competition. He loses as an underdog. He beats Jose Johnson, lower level. Luan Lacerda, lower level, but he was an underdog there. He loses to Fareed Bashrat, great fighter. A draw against Yusuf Zalal. So here's what I will say. Damon Blackshear is that dude. He is very good. And, I could look bad on this. And that's why we're just going to keep it at 2 units. The more I've looked at it stylistically, this may be leaning towards a Damon Blackshear. However, I have seen Cody Gibson is a dog. He will not give up on himself. And if you're getting a plus 360, you don't need to be guaranteeing a victory there. As a matter of fact, if we just take a look at our implied probability here, we only need him to win 21.7% of the time at plus 360. So we're giving him 50%. Even if we drop down to 40, we'd still be getting 20 percentage points of value. That may be more what the true line is at. But either way, a 40%er, a 50%er, huge difference in the metrics. But we can only break down the fights and put the numbers where we think they're going to be. And we think they're around here. And so it shows value on it. So we put a nice 2-unit sprinkle on that. And then we're going to get into my biggest bet of the night. And this is due to a number of factors. I'm going to introduce something new on the next card, UFC London, but I'm going to explain it a little bit to you here because it's important to why I have 4 units on Kirk Holloway. So first things first, we check out the WHR Glico 1 between Hernandez and Holloway. There is quite a big discrepancy here. Let's see why Hernandez is getting so much love here. So we're going to go into Hernandez. He beats Austin Hubbard as a slight, basically even money in a split decision, loses to Damon Jackson, loses to Bill Algeo, beats Jim Miller, good win there back in 2023, but loses to Billy Quarantino. Renato Moncado beats Mike Breeden. So beating the lower level guys. Kirk Holloway beats Kayan Krzyzewski as a slight underdog, loses Trey Ogden, who's proven very good, submits Austin Hubbard. So what I'm seeing here is Holloway is slightly better than Alexander Hernandez, and I don't see why he is not the favorite. And what I'm showing here in the metrics as well, Kurt Holloway is 65% chance of winning and a 35% chance for Alexander Hernandez, giving us 29.3 percentage points of value. But here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm combining these three to determine bet sizing. So I want a high probability of the win because that's going to win more than it loses. I want the difference between the implied probability and the implied probability and projected probability to be high, and I want a high expected ROI. The combination of those three will be my bet size, and so I have 4 units to win 5.95, and I may put more on Kirk Holloway combined plus 148.75. All right, let's go through our fight matrix here and take a look, starting from the bottom, starting from our first fight, and see where these are shaking out at. So here we go. Eunice Dubin plus 299, and that is basically the current line. It shows her massive rating differential here. And now, again, small sample size. But if we look, here it is, 3-0, Eunice Dubin, 1-2, Carly Judice in their last 3 fights. Higher level competition for Judice, obviously, because she has fought one fighter in the Contender Series who is in the UFC and has a win in the UFC now, and one fighter who is a solid fighter in the UFC. She lost a split decision there to her. So we'll see where that goes. But the metrics here on this side, on the advanced metrics, show Eunice Dubin as a favorite. So minimally, just that plus 300 number. I got her at plus 400. That is a good bet. Here we go. No bets on these, but let's just take a peek. Waldo Acosta, I have him being a slight favorite in this, but there's a mix here on Ryan Spann. My metrics show that the line is good, so no bet on either side, but it looks pretty split here. Now, one thing to think about is a move up from light heavyweight, Ryan Spann, to heavyweight, so we'll see how he adjusts there. Might have a speed advantage, but Acosta's pretty quick. Andre Lima, across the board, favorite. Value on Daniel Perez, but not going to place anything, too many things going against it, but those are not high numbers there. His ELO K170 is very high, matching his win percentage, but we'll see where that goes. Kevin Vallejos, across the board, favorite, pretty high. Value on Suwoo Choi, however, not going to take that either. Here we go. This is the one we talked about. This is my biggest one here. I have Kirk Holloway 65%. He is essentially spread out here, 65%. I think that he is the better fighter. I think we are getting the best line. And Alexander Hernandez is a little bit of a hype, even though people were down on him before. It's up and down. Right now they're up. Buy low, sell high. So give us Kirk Holloway here. More experience in the UFC too, so all day. Cody Gibson. Now, Damon Blackshear, slight favorite on WHR, but Cody Gibson coming in here ahead on the Glico 1 and the other metrics. So do that what you wish, but do you feel comfortable laying a minus 453 on Damon Blackshear? I do not. Give me Cody Gibson, already 2 units on that. I liked Dair Nurgolzai at a minus 250 earlier. Could have got it there. Slight value at minus 250, not taking it anymore. I like Aleski Dos Santos. Originally liked him at a minus 175. I've seen some minus 200s. Favorite on all of these. That is the pick for sure against Chidi Njokuani. And if the line comes down, parlay piece. Marvin Vittoria across the boards. I have him a slight favorite, 55%. He has beat Roman Dolidze recently. So usually that favors the one who won in the first matchup. But this will be a 5-rounder, which again favors Marvin Vittori. The layoff is concerning, but facing the highest level competition, metrics going his way. I obviously liked him at a minus 130 when he could have got him. Now he's a minus 162. No action on that. But on the fights we do have action on, real quick recap. I'm not going to have the little graphic. We're just going to go through the spreadsheet here because I just want you guys to get your bets in. Friday we'll have a little more visuals. We're going to be doing the post face-off recap. So here's the straight numbers. Eunice Dubin, 2 units to win 8. Markel Medeiros got canceled. That will be taken off when they refund me. Carlos Vera, 1 unit to win 6 at plus 600. Sam Hughes, 3 units to win 6.05 at plus 201. And we have Cody Gibson, 2 units to win 6.88 at plus 343.75. And our largest bet and final bet of the night, Kirk Holloway, 4 units to win 5.95 at a plus 148.75. Total 14 units on the line. And we will see where that goes. So there you go, guys. Look out for my Friday recap video where we're going to look at the face-offs, see if there's any height advantages, maybe some physical advantages we can catch. But this is probably going to be where I stay at. 5 bets, 14 units, and we're going to go for it on this card. A lot of big dogs. We've been cashing on them, but we're going to see where we come out. Even though there's a lot of big dogs, if you look at our actual percentage chance of winning, almost all the bets we have, 75% for Eunice Dubin. Come down. Vera is our 35%, so he's under 50%, but at a plus 600, incredible value. We got Sam Hughes, I've predicted at 52%, so that should be slightly more than half and half. Then we get Cody Gibson, I have 50-50 with Blackshear. So even though a lot of these lines are high, Kirk Hollabo, 65%, I have predictions that these guys should be favored to win the fight straight up. And I do think we're going to have a good event. I think we're catching a lot of value here. I don't think anyone who's betting on UFC is really looking at it the way we're looking at it, and we're just treating it like a math problem. We're not, oh, well, I like the way Blackshear looked in his last, No, we're not doing that. I get it. We're going to miss some things sometimes, but we're going to catch value a lot more than we miss. And I think as a long-term strategy, this is the best way to do it. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I think that the UFC is a fertile market to bet into for a few reasons that make it different than, let's say, NFL, college basketball, etc. College basketball, you can bet on it every single day. I think pros love that. A lot of ways to get in on it. They can scalp lines. That's what the pros are focusing on. With the NFL, massive market, just so many pros in it that the lines get very sharp. There's a lot of liquidity, so that puts the lines where they should be. I think there's a lot less people betting into the UFC. I think it's a lot less sharp people. I think it's a great gambling event. It's one night. It's 6 hours straight. Bang, 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 you're getting results. So I think it brings a lot of public money in, and then comes the parlays. I think the parlays is what makes us this money, because no one wants to bet Kevin Vallejos, for example, at a minus 600. Nobody is going, oh, let me take my 600 of my bankroll to win 100 on Kevin Vallejos. What they're doing is they're taking Kevin Vallejos, they're taking Su Young Yu, they're taking who's the other one? Probably not Carly Judice, but some people are. That's why she's at that minus 400. They're putting these people in parlays, and then they're going, oh, I'm betting 100, and I'm going to win 100. That's great. Now all I need is these 3 separate events to all hit. Well, if you have a 25% chance and a 80% is pretty good. But if you combine all those together, and with the math, the way the math works, 3 separate events, you have to multiply the probability of each event by itself, and you get to very, very low probabilities that all 3 of your parlays are going to hit. And I think people are losing money that way. But it's also helping us make money because it is overinflating the lines, and then we can pick off these big, big underdogs when they shouldn't be there. So keep that in mind. That's what we're doing here. And we're going to keep doing this until we think we need to tweak it. Do I think that the 75% on Eunice Dubin could be off? Yes. And I factored that in. That's why it's 2 units. For sure there's value, but is there 51.7 percentage points of value? I don't know. Are we going to have to adjust our algorithm for younger fighters who are just making their debut? Maybe. We're going to have to see on that, because there is sometimes where it's usually if someone doesn't have experience winning, but there's a lot of upside, they're going to factor that in. And I think sometimes that's a mistake. Sometimes it's guessing. Sometimes it's trying to skate to where the puck's going to be, but the puck may never get there because that person's upside potential may never manifest. So that's why we take these very juicy lines when there's not a lot of knowledge. Let's say Carly Judice was 85% on this. I'm still not betting her at minus 400 due to the same reason why I'm not going to put more units, is the uncertainty with the newer fighters. So just as I'm not going to lay Carly Judice in a parlay at minus 400, even if it's showing a projected probability of 80, 85, 90%, is the same reason I'm not going to put 5 units on Eunice Dubin at plus 400, because even though it's saying 75%, there's still an uncertainty with the newness factor. When it comes to Kirk Hollabo, I believe this 65%. I think this number is accurate, and I think this is why this will be my biggest position on the night. Just a little more information for you there. We're going to keep refining these. We're going to keep going. I want to keep getting everyone better at betting on sports, using math, enjoying it as well. Cashing big underdogs. You get to look like the smart guy at the bar. I think the lack of knowledge on payouts and the math behind big underdogs may also be affecting people's betting strategies. And it's just more for us to take advantage of. So if you're getting good information, if you're making money, like the video, subscribe to the channel, put on your notifications. You know, when I put out a video, you can get to the bets early. I would say more than any other type of YouTube video, getting to something when it's coming out is important. It's like stock market information. You got to be quick to it. And it's just nice to have the information early. So like, subscribe, comment your picks. Let me know if you guys are making money and rolling with me, and I will see you at the window.